a metaphor for our culture. Imperfect, like all metaphors. In that huddle is a bunch of folks that are black, brown, white, red, yellow, liberal, conservative, Muslim, Jewish, Christian, Buddhist, and Hindu. We are slim, fat, short, tall, fast, and slow. We are analytical people, and we're impulsive people. We have some of the finest men on earth, and heaven knows we got a few rounders. We have been through the fires of Bear Bryant and Bo Schembechler or some such coach that knows exactly how to extract every ounce of our energy. Americans see all that, and they resonate with it. They crave it. They take it and us into their hearts. The men who earn a place in the huddle have experienced the miracle of a team. The training camp experience is unbelievable. It is day after day, week after week, 2 a day, 3 a day practices in the heat, often in 14 pounds of equipment. Many drop out, numbers thin, and everybody thinks about quitting. Trust me, everybody. For those who do stay, there is the opportunity to participate in the greatest team sport ever devised. It is the only sport in which every player needs every teammate on every play just to survive. We learn ever so slowly that our differences do not matter in the huddle. When we trudge in after each interminable workout, we know that sweat smells about the same on everybody's body. When we get busted in the mouth, that blood that trickles is the same color. Everybody's tired. Everybody's hurt. It is in this process that the miracle occurs. Men who've been raised to hate each other's guts become brothers. I've seen racists reform. I've seen the most unlikely hugs after victories or losses. I've seen inner city kids invite country boys from the mountains to go home with them for Thanksgiving dinner, and I've seen those invitations accepted and reciprocated, thus changing parents' lives. Our players become brothers for life. It is what America is supposed to be, could be, might be in our best dreams.
The lesson is simple. Bring your will and perseverance to everything worth doing. When the reward is sublime, the risks are higher, and you must embrace the uncomfortable to go into that rarefied air of excellence. What you give will grow, and what you keep will perish. My hope and prayer for all of us tonight is that we will always possess a generous spirit of giving, love, and compassion for each other.
The only Denmark-born Hall of Famer, Morten Andersen played 25 years in the NFL. Andersen is the all-time leading scorer in the NFL with 2,544 points, kicking 565 field goals, and playing in the most games in NFL history with 382 appearances. Please give it up for Morten Andersen! He also works as the ringside reporter for the Lake Erie Monsters on Fox Sports and WWEC.
How's everybody doing?
And is a high school football analyst for WEWS TV5 and Newsnet5.com. He was voted Cleveland's best sports talker numerous times. Please put your hands together for Kenny Rhoda.
Thank you. Hello and welcome to Part of a Hall of Famer featuring Morten Andersen today. During our program this morning, you're going to have a unique opportunity. You get to talk to a Hall of Famer from the class of 2017. Listen, learn from this man. He's one of 310 men in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, so he obviously did some things right. And you're going to have the opportunity to ask him questions today. We have a microphone set up in the back. So this is, like I said, a unique opportunity for all of you students here today to talk to a Hall of Famer. All we ask when you step up to that microphone, state your name, the school you represent, the question, and speak loudly and nice and clear so Morten can answer your question. Now, we want to welcome some of the schools that are in attendance with us here today. Kansas City schools, they are here with us. James Ford Rhodes High School in Cleveland is with us. Elizabeth David Anderson joining us today. YMCA in Canton, Barnesville High School, and Shenandoah High School are joining us here today. And we're going to talk a lot today about Hall of Fame values. It's what a lot of the Hall of Famers pride themselves on and help them get to this point. And those Hall of Fame values are commitment, integrity, courage, respect, and excellence. And you're going to hear a lot about that today. And it's nice when you hear about that and you can maybe take it with you and learn from it, but it's also nice when those Hall of Fame values actually come to fruition and we see great sportsmanship. And this was shown recently between two high schools playing on the football field, Worcester High School and West Holmes High School. Let's take a look at the video and then we'll introduce some special guests with us today as well. That's what sports are all about. That's sportsmanship right there. And we want to recognize today some special guests in our audience from Worcester High School. Their head coach, Doug Haas. Doug, stand up, please. Nice round of applause for Doug. Mr. Running Back, Joe McGee. Joe, stand up. Scored the touchdown. Also, West Holmes head coach Zach Gardner. Zach, great job. We can talk all about Hall of Fame values. That's a perfect example of it, and what is most important. Yes, sports are about winning and losing, but they are so much more than just winning or losing. And we're going to get into that with Morten Andersen here today. We're also live on Facebook, so for those of you watching on Facebook Live, we appreciate that. Fire away with some questions. We'll read some of the questions from our audience on Facebook Live today. Also on Twitter. If you're following us, you want to send a question to Morten Andersen on Twitter, you can do so. Just hashtag it HOF Values. So let's get started, Morten. I'll open it up to you, and you can welcome our huge crowd here today.
It's great to be here. Thanks for having me. Thanks for taking your time and your energy and your passion to come here. Those words right there, I think, so important. But there's one word much more important than that we just saw in the video. These gentlemen, those two teams, and what they did and how they exemplify this particular word. It's called compassion. And the word compassion is embedded within one of the 5 characteristics of the Hall of Fame that we value so much, called character. Without compassion, guys, we cease to exist. So if there's one takeaway I gotta give you today, is to be compassionate to others, for others, on behalf of others. And to bring that energy, that youthful exuberance and energy that you have at your age, that I sort of miss, but nonetheless, that you have right now in front of you. And that wonderful opportunity that you guys have to do that. And one simple thing that we're lacking in America right now, in my opinion, is compassion for each other. No matter the race, religion, creed, do that one thing, that one takeaway today. If I'd said nothing else but that, take that with you. It's great to be here. Let's have an engaging, dynamic dialogue. It's not just us talking to you. I want to speak with you, understand some of your concerns and questions. I think this is a great platform for all of us to sort of engage and get the dialogue going about not just sports, but life. right in front of you. Right in front of you. It's an exciting time. You should be fired up. Thank you.
All right, let's get the dialogue going. I'm going to start with the first question, then we'll open it up. Again, if you have a question, step on up to the microphone, name, school, and speak clearly with your question for Morten. But I mentioned the commitment, integrity, courage, respect, excellence. The Hall of Fame values.
Sure.
Of those, is there one that stood out to you or became more important to you as 25 years? It's a long time in the NFL, but as your career blossomed.
Yes, I like stories. Storytelling to me, I came from a country, Denmark, who has one of the greatest storytellers in the history of storytelling. Anybody know who that might be? Anybody? Hans Christian Andersen. He was born in 1805, died in 1875. He wrote fairy tales, and you've seen any Disney movies, you would know who it is. But anyway, courage is the one word that is in one of the characteristics of the whole thing that was so important to me. And I'll tell you a story of how it applied in my life. I played for 25 years in the National Football League. In 2004, I was with the Minnesota Vikings. We went to the divisional playoffs for the final. We got beat by Philly. Randy Moss was on the team, a couple of other good players. They were very good. I was in my 23rd year in the league. That's how many people are 23 in here? Not a lot, right? So I played for 25. So my 23rd year, I get back to Atlanta with my family thinking, and I had a good year. And I said, well, you know what? I'm gonna play another year. I'm in good shape. I can do it. And I started training in March. The phone didn't ring. My agent didn't call. No teams called. They didn't call for a month. They didn't call for 2-3 months. And here I am with my personal trainer in a public park, because I had nowhere to train. So I went to a public park 4 times a week. I would wear my New York Giants pants, because I played for the Giants in 2001 with 9/11 and all that part. Some of you did remember it was tragic. But anyway, I'm wearing my New York Giants pants. I got my Kenny Stabler, who's a Hall of Famer. His shoulder pads on. I got my Saints helmet. I got my Falcons jersey on. These are all representing the teams I played for during this time. And I'm out there 4 times a week kicking field goals. And the Little Leagues would come and say, we need the field. And I would have to defer, meaning I would have to leave because they had that time. I would bribe not bribe is a strong word, but I would try to convince the workers to cut the grass short. So I would say, hey man, I'll buy you lunch if you cut the grass short. Because kickers don't like high grass, the ball sinks in and so forth. So now imagine, nobody's watching this. This is just me and my trainer for 4 times a week. Now, 2 months, 3 months turns to 20 months. No phone call. My wife is looking at me sideways. You're crazy. What are you doing? Get on with your life. You had 23 great years. Let's go. Get on with it. I said, no. I'm 77 points away from becoming the all-time leading scorer in the history of the game. That's worth chasing. That reward is worth the risk. And there was a risk. See, anytime you aspire to greatness, there's going to be risk. You better understand that. And it's going to take courage to go for it. When people say you cannot do it, you come right back with, they say no 10 times, you say yes 20 times. My point in that public park was simply, I'm going to try to affect change my way with courage and will and perseverance. If I fail, and failure is so important anyway, we can talk about that a little bit later. If I fail, I know I failed going 100%. So, fast forward to 2006, I'm 46 years old. Is that pretty old for an NFL player? I said it's pretty old for an NFL player. That's unheard of. You've been out of the league for 10 years at that point. At 46, 20 months into unemployment, I'm sitting in my basement with my buddy Eric Shepard, and we're watching the Falcons, and their kicker had that day. He missed 4 field goals, 3 inside 40 yards. I said, Eric, I'm getting a phone call in 20 minutes. I just know it. haven't gotten a phone call in 20 months. I said, no. This time, I'm getting a phone call. Sure enough, right after the game, phone rings. Can you come in for a workout tomorrow? I did never ask. So next day, there I am. I think it's just me, and they're going to see me kick a 40-yarder, and we're going to go on. But there's three guys, half my age, 23 years old, 22 years old, right out of college. I call them flat fellas because I wasn't. They were. You know what a flat belly is? We got a bunch of flat bellies in here today. A few round bellies. A lot of flat bellies. So here's how it goes. 30, 35, 40, 45, 50 yards, 55 yards, and back to 30 yards. 15 kicks. In the middle of the goalpost, it was an indoor facility up at Flowery Branch where the Falcons had their practice headquarters. In the middle of the net behind the goalpost, there was an orange stripe. It signaled the middle. I've always liked the middle. You know why I like the middle? It never changes. It never changes. So 14 out of 15 kicks hit that orange stripe. The 15th just grazed. And I was feeling pretty good about it. And I looked over and the fact that I was clearly not liking what they were seeing. Turned around and felt pretty good. I said, questions. And my biggest, to my surprise, one of the special teams coaches said, I have one. Black or blue ring. Well, I'll take black. I went and signed my 1-year contract. And 2 months later, I became the all-time leading sporting director. But without courage, without will, without perseverance, without understanding that there was tremendous risk and that the reward was so great, so sublime, that would never, ever have happened. Long story, very small, important word.
Great stuff. Do we have any questions for Morten Andersen? Please step on up. Don't be bashful. Don't be shy. Today's not that day. Break out of your shell and fire away at the Hall of Famer.
Hi, I'm Haley from Stern High School. And my question is, what is one thing the game of football taught you that you apply to every day?
So, as I just said, again, that will, that little word, will separate good from great. It is not enough to work hard every day. But you have to bring a level of intensity to every day and every experience you have. There's no other place we can be than right here, right now. Which leads me to this thing, right? So, again, I'm kind of, I'll get back to, I'll land the plane, but we spend an average of 7 hours a day on this computer right here. Is that reasonable? No. That's not reasonable. That's just not reasonable. That's not a wise choice in time management. My challenge to you today is to engage with each other. Without this, face to face, look at each other, have a conversation, listen. I don't have a problem with an hour a day, or, you got to check in, I get it. Got peeps. I got Snapchat and Instagram. Actually, I don't have Snapchat and Instagram, but I have Facebook, I have Twitter, and I get it. But let's put this thing down and let's engage with each other. And let's storytell. There's so much to learn. I bet if I went around every single person in here, you'd be amazed at how many examples you would pull from people's lives that would give the word courage meaning to you. Will, perseverance, compassion, energy, commitment, discipline. All of these things that are words, but without actions, they're just words. They're not meaningful. My challenge is that we lead meaningful lives, guys. Ladies. Make every day matter. That's the most important. I'm sorry to get off on a divert, but so my answer to you is simply, there's lots of answers, but I think think the will, the perseverance to go for it, and the courage to go for stuff that perhaps seems unreasonable and distasteful is what attracts me to the high performance business. You have to look at life as being high performance business. You're in it. You have one shot at this. Don't sell yourself short. Don't settle. Never settle. Ever. Commit to excellence. Set the bar high. Turn your phones off. Put it on silent. Engage. Expect much from yourself and others. Powerful, productive relationship based on powerful, productive communication. You have to tell the next man or woman next to you what you expect from them to get you to the highest level. It's like, Mr. Anderson, please, I'm in middle school. I'm in high school. Give me a break here. No. If you don't do it now, discipline, will, perseverance is a habit. It is a learned behavior. Understand that. There's no shortcuts. It is a learned behavior. And use it. It's the difference maker. Between good and great, there's greatness in this room. Clearly. It's been shown. Find it. That's your job. Find it, tap into it, feed off of each other, celebrate success, embrace failure, embrace the distasteful, and then the sky's the limit for you. Wrong answer, great question.
Our next student, if you want to step on up, keep them going.
Hi, I'm Fiona. I'm from Worcester High School. My question is, what was it like for you being an exchange student coming to the United States from Denmark?
Eye-opening, for sure. Not understanding the game. I was 17 years old. Barely spoke the language. So imagine you would be going to Denmark, not knowing the language, no friends. Football allowed me an entry into a whole new network of guys that were thinking like I was. But my first introduction to football was a little awkward, let me put it that way. I was sitting in the stands at a preseason game, Jamboree, I think it's called Jamboree, high school preseason games. And I had two host brothers. I had Dean and Roger, and they were sitting on each side watching the game. And for me, now imagine I had just arrived 2 days earlier. I'm 17 years old. I barely speak the language. I am not familiar with this game called American football. So to me, what I saw unfold in front of me was to follow along. I'm looking at this. There's a pile of bodies there. 22 guys. Okay. Here comes the stretcher. Carrying that out. Here comes another guy in this place, like that's normal. I don't think I want to be part of it. Then I saw the most eye-opening sequence. It's a center quarterback exchange. I have a big guy in tight pants bending over the ball. That by itself would have been fine. But here came the smaller guy, he can tight pants. He's licking his fingers and he proceeds to put his hands up the guy's behind him. And he was standing there for a while. What was it, talking, or he's playing? I turned to my brother, I said, I don't want to be that guy or that guy. He said, you don't have to worry, man, you just got to kick him on off the field. That's what I did for 35 years. That was my first experience as a high school student. Actually, thanks for the question.
Thank you for the question.
My name is Michael. I'm from West Holmes. You play for, what's that?
How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good, yourself.
Make it a great day, Mike.
You played for 5 different teams in 5 different cities. Out of all of them, which was your favorite and why?
New Orleans was my favorite city. I was there the longest. It's where it started because of the spirit of that city. Now, if you don't know New Orleans and the geography of New Orleans, it's below sea level. It's about 10 feet below sea level. So if you took New Orleans and you look at it kind of sideways, you have the Pontchartrain here, and then you have the Gulf of Mexico and the bayous here, which is like the swamp. Then you have New Orleans here, like a teacup. And any water that comes through the levees, if the pumps are not working, you can imagine basic physics, right? Here's the line, here's New Orleans, this breaks, water comes in, the city floods. So, throughout time, New Orleans had always had a problem diverting water, getting rid of water. So, for me, what the people of New Orleans go through on a daily basis almost, any storm comes through, any amount of rain, takes a lot of courage. Takes tremendous amount of courage to have a family there and stay there and be committed to it. One of the cities in America, in my opinion, that is one of the most interesting because you have so many different ethnicities, culture, history embedded in that city, the music, the food. I would encourage everybody to visit New Orleans, not just during Mardi Gras, but Jazz Fest or other times where you can understand and study the history all the way back. It's a very important city. It's basically what the Mississippi River, it's called the Crescent City, so the Mississippi does a big sweep and goes into the Gulf of Mexico eventually. But it's a huge port town. It's a little seedy. It's a little feels a little dangerous, but it's not. It's all of those things where you feel alive. When you go to New Orleans, you feel alive. So, yeah, that's my favorite city.
Thanks for the question. Here's our next questioner here. Step on up. Go ahead. Fire away.
My name is Daniel, and my husband is in the game. I practice go by yourself. What is the longest field goal you've ever made?
74 yards was a kick that we did at Michigan State, so I was standing on my own 36-yard line. When you're standing on your own side of the field, trying to kick a field goal, not to the short side, it would have been a lot easier just to slip and go that way. But as we were lining up, we had to find a little bit of wind and stuff. But as we were lining up, people were kicking it the wrong way. No, I'm going for that goal. So we made it 74 yards. It was it was great. We did a 72-yarder against Northwestern in the Big Ten. We played in Chicago right on the lake. Had a big wind. It fell on the end line, so it was probably about 2 or 3 yards short. The longest
You attended in a game?
Yeah, 72 yards.
Who was your coach that allowed you to do it?
Slightly insane, I think. He was, it was right before halftime. He said, go to Hail Mary, take a knee, you want to give it a fly? I said, yeah, I'll give it a try. And, it fell short, but nevertheless, it was pretty fun to live in football and see the track. It went 70 yards. My longest in the game, 63 yards against your favorite Buckeyes right down the street. It's still been in the horseshoe. That was back when it was a horseshoe.
Have you ever seen anything further than that that you made in practice?
I personally haven't, but I'm sure that there are high school kids and college kids out there hitting 80-yard field goals. Because one thing that's for sure is that everybody gets better, which is a beautiful thing. We're just trying to set the standard that we can set, and then you guys break. I want you to break all the records that are in there now. Break it. Make it yours. Take ownership of that.
Good question. Thank you. I see I learned something today from your question.
Hi, I'm Abigail Carlson, and I represent Cherrydale High School. After 25 seasons in the NFL, which former teammates are you closest with today?
Bobby Ager is the kid in Canton. I don't know if you guys are old enough to know Bobby, but Bobby was a quarterback in the USFL, was the Saints, the Falcons, He was my teammate. We were born the same day, same year, August 19, 1960. Birthday card, don't forget, August 19. So I'm close to him. He was a competitor. You know, he was one of those guys. I remember he got 2 teeth knocked out in the game against Tampa Bay. I think it was Derek Brooks that hit him on a. He never saw the guy. He never saw Derek come. Came from the blind side. He probably drawing bass, and he's looking through the second read, and by the time he absolutely just got hit, and 2 teeth, you could see him flying out, 2 chickens, you know. So now he's kind of half woozy, he's on the ground, he's trying to find his teeth. His clock's running, and he's got to call another play, so finally he gives up and goes back to the huddle. He's trying to think, call the play. He can't call the play, nobody can understand because he has no front teeth. And he called timeout. He went to the wrong sideline and he was out of the game for the rest. He went to the sideline. So Bobby's great. There's so many characters, you know. The thing you take away from a long career, hopefully this will apply to you guys as well. I think it's not the stuff, and not the money and all that. That's all bling bling. It's great, for sure. But it's the relationships and the memories that you make with the people that you're with. That's what should drive you. That process of engaging and building relationships. And if you just focus on the process and not the end result, we're so result oriented in the performance business. That's important. But what really is the secret sauce here is engaging with passion and energy, focusing on the process. Make the process so great. Make the quality of the process so great. I mean, how you live your life every day. You know, you're not going to get, you don't know what your final grade is going to be. I'm just giving you that's what I'm saying. But make it every day sort of be there, be in the moment. And the process, you know, will take care of itself. I think that's why I played for a long time. Besides great people around you, was I wasn't worried about the numbers. I was more worried about, not worried, I was more focused on the quality of the experience every day. And be great every day, and be better tomorrow than I was today. I'm not trying to preach, but I really think for me, that was the secret sauce, is that drive every day to try to be better and make the day better than it was yesterday.
Thank you for your question.
My name is Brian. Thanks,
I love your hair, by the way. That's awesome.
How did you get the nickname The Great Dane?
Well, I'm Danish, and Olag or better, you know, we call it a lot of things, but I think it's the Great Dane, you know. If I made a field goal, it'd be the Great Dane lifts his leg again, you know. Stuff like that. You know, play on words and so forth. So it was a layout, I think, for the writers. You know, the Great Dane. I embraced it, you know. It related to the heritage where I came from, and maybe the way I played too. I was a big guy. I mean, for a kicker, which was 6'2", 230 pounds, pretty big. I weigh a little bit more now than that, but you know, that's linebacker stuff.
Thank you for your question. I have one for you. Yeah, that's one of the questions. Second kicker inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, you and Jan Semery, the only true kickers, lose until he grows into a point, you know, so there are others, but true kickers, right? Soccer style kickers. You know, Galaxy, you have them to thank for that. And then what? So what does it mean to you to be the second kicker and representing that country here in the Pro Football Hall of Fame, where there are 309 other players in here with you, and you're talking upstairs, I think, 10 from counting yourself from other countries?
Yeah, it's not the norm, obviously, that a 201 player gets inducted into NY, but it's a tremendous sense of pride for me to represent a country, a small country. Denmark is 5.5 million people, size of Maryland, very tiny country. We have a queen right now, with a constitutional monarchy, democracy, part of NATO, big ally. We actually have the biggest 4th of July party outside the United States in the world. So think of us on the 4th of July. So we're great allies with the United States. So there's always been a bond there between the country, and so it's just very cool to connect. And football was not, 20 years ago, football was non-existent. American football was pretty much non-existent in Denmark. Because there was a player, that player being me, that had some amount of success in the league, they started showing games live on television. So, you know, the Super Bowl gets on there at 12:30 in the morning, at 12:30 at night. It's 6:30 Eastern time, I think. So 6-hour time change. We're ahead of you guys 6 hours. So imagine hundreds of thousands of people up all night watching the Super Bowl. It happens every year. I've done the games television. It's a tremendous experience to be in Denmark during the Super Bowl weekend, because people actually have Super Bowl parties, they do it up, it's like real. And so it's becoming very popular. And you know, it's not like soccer, it's not a main sport yet, but it's gaining popularity. We have one other guy in Vegas, who's on the practice squad with the Redskins right now. He's an offensive lineman, Danish, at the University of Connecticut. I'm crossing my fingers that this guy makes it, because that would be a huge step in the right direction for our country. You know, to have another player that can take a little bit of heat off me too.
We have a Facebook question. I'm going to get to you in a second, young man. All right, I want to get this Facebook question in. And thanks to everybody watching on Facebook Live. What was your welcome to the NFL moment?
That's an easy one. That was in 1982 in September, the very first regular season game. We lost the toss. We had to kick off to the St. Louis Cardinals. There's no such thing anymore. The team with Los Angeles, St. Louis Rams, and now it's back to Los Angeles Rams. So we're playing in the Superdome, 76,000 people there. Opening kickoff. And I kicked the ball about 7 yards into the end zone. The guy takes a knee, but there was a guy who was one of the blockers on the kickoff return for St. Louis. He had a number 40, his name was Randy Love. He didn't know the play was over, so he started chasing me. Well, when I saw him chasing me, one thing I learned in high school was if a bigger guy comes at you, run the other way. That's what they used to call me the Matador. Because if a guy came and say, you have the ball, and you're going to try to, I always did deal late. There's the goal line, go ahead. So I had to nickname the Matador. But Randy Love decided he was going to chase me. I decided I was going to run away from him because I didn't want to have any part of Randy Love. I snapped my ankle. I got my ligaments on the astroturf from outside weeks. So that was my walking through the NFL moment.
Good news, you ended up in the Hall of Fame after that stuff.
Wow, no question.
Yeah. Okay, let's get you back up there. Number 9. Go ahead with your question.
My name is Arnold Porter, and I'm here today for Rhodes. And my question is, for the 20 months that you've been in the call, what was your motivation to keep going?
Like what we talked about, the motivation was really to have. So let's talk about goal setting a little bit. So a goal should have certain components. When you set goals, and I'm sure your coaches, your teachers talk about that, short-term goals, long-term goals. A goal should be specific. You should be able to write that thing down specifically. And it's always a good idea to write things down, guys. Why? It takes on more meaning than if you just say it. Write it down. The goal should be specific. It should be realistic. It should be motivational. Those 3 things. And so, I think for me, you know, setting goals that had those 3 characteristics was a huge motivation. And it allowed me, you know, you can't have a goal that's threatening an absolute right. For kicker, I'll give you an example. If I wrote goals before a season and said I want to make 100% of my field goal, is that a good goal? it's an unrealistic goal. It's not motivational. It's a threatening goal because if I miss one kick, failure, right? Goal windows. That's what I want you guys to think about. Set the bar hard and make goal windows, parameters, that if you hit that window, man, you're going really good, you're going really strong. I think that's been really important for me. I don't know if I answered your question. Kind of.
Thanks for your question. Next up.
I'm Jared Snell from West Holmes, and my question is who influenced you the most in your life?
Cool. A lot of people. And here's another takeaway I think is really important. You have to allow people into your life, guys. You have to allow. You can't just. It has to be a dynamic thing all the time. And I think mentors, mentorships, whether it's your parents, teachers, coaches, you have to allow them to teach you and allow them. Don't block. So always an open mind. For me, there was a special teacher called Frank Sr. who was a tremendous guy. And I had my best 2 years with him. He's tragically gone now, but the way he set standards and talked about embracing the uncomfortable, talking about the high performance business and living that every day, really motivated me. And then my grandmother, quite honestly, my grandmother was a midwife. Now she's passed, but my grandmother was born during World War I, One. And she became a midwife. She had delivered thousands of babies. During World War II, when the British were bombing Copenhagen and the Nazis occupied Denmark, among many other countries in Europe, from 1940 to 1945, she would be on a motorcycle in a sidecar with a Nazi soldier while the British were bombing and blackout in Copenhagen, going to apartments and houses to deliver babies during that time. So that, her will, perseverance, her courage in the face of real danger motivated me. And she was, one of the most influential people in my life. I admire her very much and miss her very much. Thank you, brother. Thank you. Great.
My name is D'Angelo Williams. I'm coming from James Ford Rose High School. My question to you is, what was your main purpose of going to the NFL?
My main purpose really, I didn't really have one that was very defined at all. I was just trying to hang on after my injury on the first kick. I thought, this might be over before I even get started. I had a terrible preseason. I was 3 for 12, and if you know anything about kicking, that is not very good. I mean, you're missing 9, that's like 25%. So I thought I might be gone before I even get going. And so I was, when I was really young, 21, 22, 23 years old, I was just trying to hang on. One day after another, and I think as it got better in the 83, I started getting some game winners. It became more evident to me that if I continued down that path, I could have a long career. 25 years, I had not imagined believing, but it was just too. It was like a gift. I'm in the NFL. It's just crazy. 4 years ago, I wasn't even in this country. I mean, it's insane when you think about it. But you never know what life gives you, what gifts. Your job, guys, is to recognize when these defining moments in your life come. And when you're young, they're hard to recognize sometimes. It might just fly right by you. You don't realize that the train left the station. And by the time the train's gone, it's too late. So that's my whole point was just keeping your eyes and ears open all the time and embracing the present and be present. Gives you a much bigger chance to recognize these moments when they come. Mentors help, people recognize that, hey, this is a big moment, embrace this thing. So And I was just trying to do that, living every day kind of as intensely and as powerful as possible.
Thanks for your question. Any more questions?
Hello, my name is Steven Santiago. I represent James Ford Roads, and my question is, out of your whole 25-year career, what do you think was the most difficult game for you?
I mean, I don't know if there were a lot of distasteful games. So I would miss a kick at the end, and you would have to wait a week. That was tough. That was really tough. And thank God I had more good ones than bad ones. There was one in '96. Jacksonville was a new team. The Jaguars. We're playing the Jaguars. We were down by 2 points. And it's like 3 seconds to go, and I got 30 yards from the middle. And me a layup. I mean, that's the kick I make 10 out of 10 times. It's a muddy field. As I come to kick it, I slip. My plant foot literally glides about a foot. I hit the ball way behind it. Squirts left. I miss the kick. I fall down. I'm laying on my back. Jacksonville's in the playoffs for the first time in there. Because we were 3 and 13. We weren't going anywhere. We were looking at draft choices at that time. But a lineman named Robbie Tobe, he straddles me. So I'm thinking, oh, he's going to help me out. So you lost the game! He just walked away. Distasteful, too bad. Brutal? Yes, he bad. But, 2 years later, we're in the Metrodome, NFC Championship game, overtime, 38-yard left pass. I tied it and go to the Super Bowl. So Jacksonville on my mind, not for me. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Brandon Cody, and I'm representing Rhodes High School. My question is for you, going back to your childhood days, who was your best role model to inspire you to play football?
High school coach in soccer. I really didn't play football until I was 17. By the way, you got a radio voice, so if you ever consider a career you should go, you might want to look at radio. Say something. Say a couple words. This guy's got radio. You do. Good. You're mine. I mean,
I work for radio. He's right.
Close your eyes, everybody, and give me a 30-second synopsis of your life. Go. No, there's not an option. Hi, my name, go away. I'm here's my interest. Just get up to the mic. We're live. The light is on. The red light's on right now. We're on air. You can do it.
One of the best interests in my life, I like to rap, dance and stuff, so, I like to chase my dream and do whatever I got to do to keep on going.
Want to rap?
You can rap. Come on. Ain't no shame in the Hall of Fame. Ain't no shame in the Hall of Fame. No? Come on, throw it out there. Keep it PG.
I like to slay my dream and do whatever I got to do to chase it. I like to be successful. I like to do whatever I can to keep it going, as in our future being bright.
Great. What you said there, that's all true. Now tell me how you're going to do it. Tell me the process. I don't want to know about the end. I want to know about right now, what are you going to bring? If I'm hiring you, what are you bringing to me? What's the process? What's your thinking? what is going to drive you?
Actually, what's going to drive me is that I'm actually challenging myself. So therefore, writing music is competition. It's not just just writing out random words. You got to think about what's actually going on. Especially if you want to talk about life or something that's been going on in the past or future. Then you gotta persuade yourself. Because actually, telling lies and raps, honestly, it's not cool.
What inspires you about writing songs? What inspires you? What is it is it your own experiences, or is it maybe you see some injustices and you say, I got to vent, I got to get this off my chest? What is it? All of it?
It's mainly because of my mom. You know, it's been a lot that we've been going throughout these past years. So I basically discovered my own gift that I know how to sing, dance, coming from the family, because it runs in it. So
it's an homage to your mother. It's a gift to her.
Mm-hmm.
See, that's the beauty of life right there. You're giving your mother a gift. And you're giving it from your heart because it's meaningful to you. And you know that she's going to be affected in a positive way by that. Keep it up, brother. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
One last question here. You got a question here? Go ahead. One last question here. Number 21 is going to close it out for us.
So, my name is Julian Hall, and I got a James Floyd. My question was, how do you deal with people telling you you couldn't do things, even with your high school experience and your college experience, and even the NFL experience? How do you cope with it? What was your best experience?
So I'll leave you with these takeaways. And you done with basketball? Mm-hmm. You done with basketball?
Done with basketball?
And you done? Yeah, easy.
That's what I thought.
So let me leave you with these takeaways, guys. As performers, as high-performance human beings, which is what I want you to walk out of here thinking, that you are a high-performance human being. Can we make that deal? Let's make that deal. 2 things that you control. Here are the takeaways. These are important. Remember, this is important. 2 things, and this will answer your question. Your effort that you bring to everything you do every day, you control. Your attitude that you bring to every endeavor that you encounter every day, you control. And here's the rest. Here's the secret. Everything else is white noise. Effort, attitude, everything else you don't control. Don't spend time on it. You spend time on these 2 components in your life, you will succeed as a high-performing human being. That is my pledge, my promise to you. I've really enjoyed being with you guys today.
Hope you enjoyed this morning session with Morten Andersen, Hall of Famer. Take away a lot of things. Like I said, one of 310 guys that make it here to Canton in the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So he knows how to achieve greatness. Thank you all for coming out. Travel safely, and we'll see you next time. Take care.